Not everyone can be the sharpest tool in the shed, but occasionally someone is so delightfully dumb that their IQ score may as well be a solid 0. The truth is, the world just wouldn't be the same without stupid people. And coming up are some of the biggest morons around. If there's anything capable of tempting the world's biggest half-wits out of the shadows, it's a global pandemic. Lucky for us, we're in one right now. Stockpiling isn't a smart choice by any stretch of the imagination, but essential goods from toilet paper to pasta have flown off shelves around the world as mass panic really set in. Of course, with millions of people confined to their homes, there's one thing no one wants to be short of: beer. And yet, there's one particular brand of Mexican lager people suddenly aren't so keen on, judging by photos like this one. It seems like a total loss of common sense is the latest symptom of the virus, according to these harebrained shoppers. A year ago, we never could have imagined that encountering someone in the supermarket who isn't wearing a medical mask and gloves would seem out of the ordinary. And yet, here we are. But there's a special breed of morons I like to call COVIDiots who usually end up looking worse off than if they hadn't tried to follow health regulations to begin with. Take these guys for example. Isn't the whole point of the gloves that you don't end up transferring harmful germs to your mouth? Seems like Doritos are the true vice of the stupid. Hey, it could be worse though. You could just stick the gloves straight into your mouth instead. Speaking of masks, I'm not entirely convinced that this shop assistant has fully got the hang of hers. The last I heard, it wasn't the case that the virus can't get you if you can't smell it. Someone should probably tell her before she goes out looking like a total fool. Oh wait, still, it could be worse I guess. This woman looks like she's auditioning for a starring role in the next Emoji Movie. Navigating the supermarket is a minefield in itself, but then there's the issue of sanitizing everything you bring back with you. There's all sorts of conflicting advice out there to confuse you, but I'll tell you this for free. Sanitizing money in the microwave categorically does not work. Seriously, there are people out there who are literally cooking their notes in the hope that it will magically disinfect them. In case you're wondering what will happen if you do, your money will probably end up looking something like this. If you think that's bad, check out this shriveled lump, which used to be 3,000 Canadian dollars. Spoiler alert. No amount of praying is going to turn that back into cold hard cash. Confusion at the store is really nothing new. Just take a look at this back to school display in Tesco, one of the UK's leading stores. I don't know about you, but I don't recall whiskey being an essential back in my day. Perhaps swapping pencils for Pinot Grigio and calculators for cocktails is the new education initiative across the pond. Seriously though, it looks like someone's job was on the line when the boss found out about this hilarious cock-up. The mark of a true imbecile is an inability to follow basic instructions. But in this case, it looks like directions were followed a little too literally. Either that or there's someone out there with the birth-given name on both. In which case, happy birthday to you, sir. There are only two ways to look at a cake like this one. Either the cake decorator is just following the customer's instructions, or they really do not care whose birthday they ruin. Mistakes are easily made, but some actions bear the unmistakable mark of a true idiot. On a regular Saturday morning in September of 2019, librarian Amanda Monson from the LaPorte County Library in Indiana was sorting through returns when she spotted something unusual about the book Nonsense Songs and Stories, illustrated by Edward Lear. It's not unusual for people to accidentally leave their bookmarks inside library books, but this one was different. In fact, it was an entire uneaten taco instead. Whichever psychopath is behind this, I'd like to personally congratulate you on your incredible idiocy. Stupid people walk among us every day, but there are plenty of easy ways to identify them. If it's not their actions that give the game away, you can bet your bottom dollar the way they present themselves will. Take this guy for example. When you can't decide which overpriced piece of headgear screams, "I have rich parents," the most, why not just whack both on instead? Well, because you'll look like a total fool. That's why. Here's someone who has absolutely no idea what they're doing. I'd say there's a fair chance a ginormous package like that one isn't gonna miraculously fit into a regular sized car. But hey, it's worth a shot. The shocking thing is that these imbeciles aren't alone in their misplaced ambition. Turns out there are plenty more simpletons attempting such impossible tasks in parking lots around the world. Unless cars have suddenly become more TARDIS-like on the inside, God help us all. Some might say romance is well and truly dead, but these two lovebirds beg to differ. Nothing screams true love like matching t-shirts. Although I'm not totally convinced this couple read them properly before they arrived in the mail. I guess they could always trade back, but something tells me that He's My King shirt isn't quite her size. Remember the famous phrase, if at first you don't succeed, try again? Sometimes it just doesn't pay off like you imagined. Just ask this dude. Even if you were able to bail out the entire yard using one plastic bucket, it doesn't seem like the gaps in the fence have been properly accounted for. Still, you've got to give some kudos to this guy for his valiant effort. Everyone makes mistakes at work from time to time. But one girl truly screwed up at her job at the pet store when she somehow managed to drop all the fish on the floor. Something tells me it's a little too late to put them in rice and hope they'll magically revive. Hey, maybe she should just use the trusty kick it under the fridge approach to spilled ice. They say it can be difficult to spot rich people in a crowd, but here's a top tip for identifying someone who's both rich and stupid. They use their laptop as an umbrella. Unless Apple has just come out with the iBrella, it definitely seems like these girls are more concerned about keeping their hair dry than any of the important documents they have stored on their devices. In case you're wondering what college these imbeciles attend, that would be USC, as in the University of Spoiled Children. Some say bumper stickers are tacky, but that doesn't stop people advertising anything from their love of Jesus to their self-confessed road rage. Still, there are a couple of heartfelt sentiments that can be expressed through the modern art of the bumper sticker. Like this person, who really loves their dog. Wait a minute. I'll let you figure out what makes this person so gloriously dumb on your own. These days, influencer culture is all the rage. But before there were hordes of hyped-up Instagrammers dedicated to snapping mouth-watering photos of the food they didn't actually eat, it was up to girls like this to get the job done. Unbeknownst to her, whatever she's trying to show off is making a break for it onto the table. And the classic duck face pout is the icing on this extremely tacky cake. Safety is paramount to survival in all walks of life, especially when you're transporting an ATV down a busy highway. Something that probably shouldn't be done like this. Now, I'm certainly no expert, but something tells me that giant elastic band isn't intended to be looped around the tire like that. Let's file this photo under disasters waiting to happen for now, shall we? Anyone who grew up watching the classic Looney Tunes cartoons will be well familiar with Wile E. Coyote's many desperate ploys to catch the elusive Roadrunner. But none of those schemes would pay off in real life, right? Wrong. Very wrong. In fact, in 2016, a street artist painted a mural of one of Wile E. Coyote's fake tunnels and, lo and behold, some bozo went and crashed straight into it. Now there's an ad for eyesight testing if I ever saw one. Let's take a moment to examine some more classic COVIDiots. After all, there's an abundance of them out there. First up, what happens when you attempt to have a secret social gathering on your open rooftop? The police turn up, that's what. In fact, here they are right now. They would have gotten away with it too, if it wasn't for those pesky neighbors. One of people's greatest worries is that the virus could be easily picked up from public surfaces. But thankfully, some total brainiacs out there have been able to come up with ingenious solutions like this one. Elevator buttons are sure to be home to all sorts of harmful bacteria that plenty of strangers touch throughout the day, but at least this plastic sheet is there now to collect the bacteria instead. Oh, never mind. Thanks to all sorts of new government restrictions, workplaces are having to rethink the way they do things. Take a look at these staff members who are attending a meeting about new social gathering rules. Seems great at first, except for the fact that the meeting itself is a social gathering. Counterintuitive doesn't even begin to cover it. Tattoos are a lifelong commitment, unless you have the money to throw at the removal process further down the line. That's just one of the many reasons you should probably think long and hard before getting inked. Unless you want to end up looking like this woman, that is. I'm not too sure her or her tattoo artist have ever seen a compass in real life before, and this unfortunate design has got totally lost in translation. It's important to be as inclusive as possible nowadays, but sometimes people's best efforts still manage to miss the mark entirely. Case in point, this sign. What probably looks like a blank sheet of paper to the naked eye is actually a sign which has been thoughtfully composed in the tactile textures of Braille. The only problem? It's been slipped behind a glass pane, which makes it impossible to read. Better luck next time, dum-dum. People love nothing more than rescuing cute animals and then bragging about it later on social media. And this girl really thought she was onto something when she tweeted about saving a baby shark. There are several issues with this claim though, no matter how well intentioned. First and foremost, that's no shark. A closer look will tell you that's a saltwater catfish. Even if it were a baby shark though, I'd struggle to see how scooping it out of the water would save its life. It seems like there are several layers to this seriously dumb tweet. If there's anyone capable of challenging that girl for the title of dumbest animal rescue, it's the guy who managed to simultaneously save and kill a tortoise. In case you're wondering how that happened, it went down like this. Guy finds what he thinks is a turtle wandering around his backyard. Guy throws turtle into the lake, thinking he's saving it. Guy texts sister to tell her about it. Sister tells brother it's a land-breathing tortoise, not a turtle. Finally, Guy spends the rest of his life consumed by guilt. Or at least that's what I imagine happened anyways. Cycling is a great way to reduce your carbon footprint, but it definitely takes a certain kind of person to think that leaving a bike locked up like this makes it theft-proof. We can only hope that the individual behind this photo was a little smarter than the bike's owner and didn't take advantage of the oh-so-easy opportunity to get a free ride home. The only thing more ridiculous than this doomed bike is this chained-up hula hoop, which quite frankly poses more questions than it answers. Dumb people can be found just about anywhere, but one of their most natural habitats is the gas station. Here we have an interesting specimen attempting to fill up her car tires using a fire extinguisher? Honestly, trying to imagine exactly what is going through someone's head when they embark on such a half-baked scheme is nigh on impossible. So let's just put it this way. It's probably a very, very stupid idea. Have you had the pleasure of encountering anyone as spectacularly dumb as the people in this video? And what's the stupidest thing you've ever done? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.